The Duke of Cambridge made a plea for leaders to stamp out the devastating ivory trade that is set to destroy the African elephant population before his children are even out of their 20s. Prince William delivered the keynote address at Tusk's Time for Change event at the Shard, London, today, and drew on his own family to illustrate how quickly the animals are being killed for their tusks. Joining campaigners including Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall and Environment Secretary Andrea Leadsom, the royal said that when he was born there were 1 million elephants roaming Africa, but by the time his 2-year-old daughter Charlotte reaches the age of 25, there will be none. He said, earlier this month the Great Elephant Census was published. And it confirmed what many of us have feared for some time: one of our planet's most treasured species is on course for extinction at the hands of poachers and traffickers. When I was born, there were 1 million elephants roaming Africa. By the time my daughter Charlotte was born last year, the numbers of savanna elephants had crashed to just 350,000. And at the current pace of illegal poaching, when Charlotte turns 25, the African elephant will be gone from the wild. In the speech to the audience in the Shard and those who were present in Tokyo and Johannesburg via a live link, he added that, the risk is not just to elephants. Today is World Rhino Day. A species that, due to demand for its horn, is being killed at a rate of nearly 3 animals a day. Rhinos face extinction in our lifetimes as we struggle to correct lies about the supposed benefits of using its horn as a drug. However, this crisis is not just about animals, this crisis is also about people. It is some of the world's poorest people who will suffer when their natural resources are stripped from them illegally and brutally. It is families in the world's most vulnerable regions who suffer when 2 rangers are killed every week on the front line of this fight. It is fragile democratic systems in many nations that are at risk from the scourge of violence and corruption that the illegal wildlife trade fuels. At the event run by Tusk, a charity that has boasted William as a patron since 2005, Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall also called for a crackdown on the ivory trade. William said, "I am not prepared to be part of a generation that lets these iconic species disappear from the wild. I am not prepared to explain to our children why we lost this battle when we had the tools to win it, and I know that none of you in Tokyo, Johannesburg or here in London want this either. I fear we will not know what we have lost until it has gone. But there is hope, we can do something. There is huge momentum building from governments, businesses, conservationists, and the public to take the steps required to stop the killing." He reminded conservationists how he spoke ahead of the last Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, CITES, conference when he urged conservationists and leaders to redouble their efforts to tackle illegal wildlife trade. He pointed out that thanks to the London conference in 2014, the recovery of giant panda numbers in China has shown how action can deliver results. The overwhelming vote at the UN World Conservation Congress called on all countries to close their domestic ivory markets. These are all significant steps, but progress is fragile and we cannot be complacent, he said. He continued, as leaders gather for CITES, and later at the 3rd Illegal Wildlife Trade Conference in Vietnam in November, which I will be attending, we have the chance to seize a huge opportunity. We have the opportunity to end, once and for all, the mixed messages we have sent for too long about the value and desirability of wildlife products. We have the chance to say that ivory is a symbol of destruction, not of luxury, and not something that anyone needs to buy or sell. We have the chance to say that rhino horn does not cure anything and does not need a legal market. Now is the chance to send an unambiguous message to the world that it is no longer acceptable to buy and sell ivory, rhino horn or other illegal wildlife products. Indeed, I would challenge anyone who knows the truth of how these wildlife products are obtained, to justify desiring them. Materialistic greed cannot be allowed to win against our moral duty to protect threatened species and vulnerable communities. This is not just an issue for people on the other side of the world. The British government announced yesterday that it is looking closely at this issue in respect of our own domestic trade. This year's CITES conference takes place this weekend and will urge parties to unite around an unmistakable message to the world about the crisis in which we find ourselves, in my personal opinion, a tightening and not a loosening of the rules around the international trade in ivory and rhino horn. Mixed messages about the viability of trade in elephant or rhino parts would surely serve only to confuse would-be consumers at this crucial time. We cannot undo the mistakes of the past. But we can and must take moral responsibility for the decisions we make today. Please let us not lose momentum or focus. If we are to succeed, we must do more, we must do it faster, and we must do it better. But most importantly, we must do it together. Secretary-General of CITES John Scanlon and the Japanese philanthropist Dr. Haruiza Handa will also took part via satellite link from Johannesburg and Tokyo. Tusk, which has boasted William as their patron since 2005, has raised more than £30 million for projects in Africa since it was established 26 years ago. The Royal conducted a tour of the charity's projects in Botswana in 2010 with Prince Harry, and this April he visited Tusk-supported programs in the north of Kenya. Organizers hope the event will draw global attention to the continuing threat to many of the world's species from the illegal wildlife trade, IWT. The IWT is now recognized as the fourth largest transnational crime by value, after drugs, arms and human trafficking. It is estimated to be worth up to $20 billion, £15 billion, each year and is responsible for decimating populations of elephant, rhino and many other lesser-known species. Currently, one African elephant is killed every 15 minutes, which means the species could become extinct within 10 years. Environment Secretary Andrea Leadsom was also at the event, the day after she announced a UK ban on modern ivory sales. The ban will cover the sale of items dated since 1947, but the trade in worked items made before then will still be allowed. She said, "What we're trying to do is to send a huge signal to the world that the illegal trade and poaching of elephants is not acceptable, and that's what's going on today, every day. So it's a start on our manifesto commitment, and we're trying to send a very strong message at what is a very important time." She said it was absolutely crucial to have a plan to discourage those who would benefit from the appalling, violent, illegal trafficking, that is, destroying communities and really importantly destroying these iconic beasts. It's a total global tragedy. The MP said the ban on modern-day ivory sales is the first step to tackle the difficult, international global issue of poaching. But former Environment Secretary Owen Paterson, who was also present, said the plans did not go far enough and thought that a 100-year ban would be stronger. The MP for North Shropshire said, "It's a start, but it's not enough. If you could farm your way out of this and have huge rhinoceros farms and elephant farms. But this isn't chickens, this isn't beef. You could never, ever farm enough of these animals to satisfy demand, so you have to stop using this material." He praised the Duke's strong, clear speech in which he said we must do more, we must do it faster, and we must do it better.